I think this is one that just has really a decade of a tailwind to it that is, even at these valuations, can create value for investors. You put a 6.5 revenue multiple, hardware, software, services, you get to $2,500.
$2,500. I happen to think maybe that probably gets there sooner than we think. Let's say it gets there within the next quarter or two, which I think is a possibility.
Hey, I'm Stephen and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So with Tesla stock still over $1,000 per share and Tesla's market cap still in excess of $1 trillion, this is the second day in a row, we get to watch the continued evolution of Tesla stock analyst Gene Munster from Tesla Bull to Tesla HyperBull. I'll also be reacting to some insanity on the CNBS panel. One of the folks joining the discussion saying that he believes Tesla stock could 2.5x in the next 3 to 6 months. And also be reacting to Melissa Lee low-key roasting one of the Tesla bears on the panel. Always fun. So with that said, let's get into the video. If you love crypto, stocks, and free stuff, or just want to help out the channel, check out these great offers. BlockFi are launching the world's first Bitcoin rewards credit card. People in the US can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase with no annual fee using the BlockFi Bitcoin rewards credit card. Check out the link in the description. And for a limited time, you can get up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, where you can use cryptocurrency to earn interest, borrow cash, and buy or sell crypto. If you want your free crypto, use the link in the description. And if you'd like up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $300 just for opening an account. And if you make an initial deposit of $5 or more, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $2,000. Seriously. Free stocks? Yes, please. And finally, if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also linked in the description. Thanks so much for your support, guys. Let's get back to it.
Gene, I know you love Tesla, but what is not being priced into the stock with the stock north of $1,000 right now?
The sustainability of what's happened, I think BKU said fundamentals don't matter. I think fundamentals matter very much. I understand your point. But I think that the sustainability of the fundamentals, the strength of fundamentals, is what's not being priced in. And I step back and say, don't know what the stock's going to do over the next 6 months. Hard to predict that. But if you just look at the trajectory and think about what the value of Hertz, I appreciate your comments, Melissa, about getting these cars in consumers' hands and then they buy them, they experience it, they buy it. But I think that sustainability is not reflected. I want to just quick put some numbers around that. Their current share in the U.S. is around 65%. Globally, it's less. And I've always thought that they're going to gravitate to 20% share eventually, 10 years from now, of the car market. And that's more than any car maker has today, but it's a far cry from 65. What you see these screws getting turned down with the Hertz announcement, I think that this number could be more than 20%. That would imply about 17 million vehicles a year. They're at 1 million today.
Did you guys catch that? Gene Munster, Tesla Bull, is slowly evolving into a hyper bull, believing that Tesla could get to 17 million electric vehicles sold in a single year in the future. This is just shy of Tesla's own stated goal of 20 million electric vehicles per year, which to date, practically everyone on Wall Street thinks is completely preposterous. For example, Morgan Stanley, Adam Jonas, recently increasing their Tesla stock price target from $900 per share to $1,200 per share in the base case. And in the base case, they're expecting Tesla to sell less than 10 million electric vehicles in 2030. Not even half Tesla's own stated goal.
So I think that this conversation we're having, we're going to keep having it. And the stock is going to be down some quarters, more quarters it's going to be up. And we're going to wonder when it's going to end. So I want to try to fast forward to the end of where I think that this plays out. Is if you look at, they're going to do $70 billion next year in revenue. I think by 2027, a long time from now, they'll do $400 billion.
So I wasn't kidding when I said Gene Munster is becoming a Tesla hyperbull. I've just pulled up my own Tesla valuation model, 2027. I've got $400 and something billion of revenue as well. Kind of disturbing. However, just a caveat there, this doesn't include energy at all, robotaxi at all, HVAC, battery or powertrain supply, Dojo as a service, etc. So I am being quite conservative in my Tesla valuation model, but even so, the fact that Gene Munster is in the same ballpark as me, I find this quite disturbing. Am I turning into the next class clown?
You put a 6.5 revenue multiple, hardware, software, services, you get to 2,500. That's a big jump from where we're at today. But I think we're just going to keep chopping our way up. Could be wrong. Competition could catch me, surprise me. But I think this is one that just has really a decade of a tailwind to it that is, even at these valuations, can create value for investors.
Well, I find myself in complete agreement with Gene Munster once again. Even at $1 trillion+ market cap, with Tesla stock in excess of $1,000 per share, I personally believe there is a very, very long way to go. And everyone who's currently supporting the channel on Patreon will know exactly what I'm talking about. For those who don't know, my Tesla stock price targets over the next 10 years, all the way out till 2031, are available exclusively on Patreon. That includes my bear case, my base case, and my bull case. And these price targets do make $1,000 per share look like a rounding error. Don't forget, if you'd like access, click the card in the corner to join Patreon. You'll get access to the price targets, plus a bunch of exclusive content and regular Q&As. Anyway, to give you guys some context around Gene Munster's $2,500 per share for Tesla stock, that would mean Tesla stock is a $2.5 trillion with a T trillion-dollar company, bigger than Apple is today. Just.
Hey, Gene, Tim. So, I can't argue with that, and I kind of agree with at least some part of your top-line growth, but this is not really a tech company then. It's back to the auto company argument. And at least if you look at the operating margin for producing this car, it doesn't warrant, even at the type of growth you're talking about, even north of 20% market share, and I think the competitive landscape. So please push back on that, because you've been steadfast here, you've been right, and I'm having trouble looking at the valuation.
So just before Gene Munster answers, I want to give you guys a little bit of background on Tim whatever, the guy that just spoke. He has in the past very publicly been not only critical of Tesla, but also short Tesla stock. I've seen tweets of his on Twitter responding to Gordon, yes, Gordon the class clown Johnson, claiming he's doing God's work when it comes to sharing his thoughts on Tesla. Not even kidding. He's also referred to people that either support Tesla and or own Tesla stock, not sure which, as Teslemmings. I think a term originally coined by Mark Toilet Boy Spiegel, and I've heard rumours, unsubstantiated, so please do your own homework, that Tim may actually have some oil-related stocks in his portfolio. Of course, this may have changed, may not even be true. Please do your own homework. But I just wanted to set the scene and provide some context, because I've been paying attention to what the folks in the mainstream finance media have been saying about Tesla all along, and Tim Seymour historically has been extremely bearish on the company and just cannot get his head around the valuation, whether it's a $40 billion market cap, a $400 billion market cap, or now a $1 trillion market cap. Seems to be a recurring theme here. Poor Timmy just can't get his head around it.
So the car, everything I outlined is correct. We're talking about cars, and then in a sentence later, I'll say it's more than a car company. I'm take more of a philosophical approach to this and say whether it is in the form of a car or it's in the form of a phone or it's in the form of some sort of advertising revenue. I'm trying to focus in on which products can have the highest sustainable growth and what are their profitability characteristics. And so I think that eventually over time, more than half of Tesla's revenue is going to be car related. It's 100% basically right now. But I see this as just kind of looking at the core. Can they get to 40% gross margin? It was called 30% last quarter. Can they get to 40%?
Spoiler alert, they sure can. You can count on it.
And if they keep growing at 50%, do people even really care whether it's called a car company or a phone company? They just want earnings power, and I think that absent some surprises in competition, they're going to keep delivering it.
Hey, Gene, it's BK. So let me ask you, just put a $2,500, I mean, roughly, you didn't put a price target on it, but you said if you put a 6 multiple on it, you can get the $2,500. I happen to think maybe that probably gets there sooner than we think. Let's say it gets there within the next quarter or two, which I think is a possibility. Do you then sell it, and then does that turn you bearish?
What? I mean, hey, never say never. But Tesla stock to $2,500 per share, that's a 2.5x from where we are today in the next 2 quarters. That's the next 3 to 6 months. Now, like I said, never say never, but I would be willing to rate this as about a 0.0006942% chance of occurring. Possible, but extremely unlikely. That being said, extend the time horizon by another 12, 18, 24, maybe 36 months, all but a done deal, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I think I would sell it if it got to 2,500 in let's say a month. That's just too much, too fast. You could argue that at where it's at today, but there has to be some sort of a framework around this. And what I'm talking about is 2017. I'm talking about like a 3-5 year price target to double. That would be a great return on a typical investment. But if we got there in a short amount of time, I do. So I think I would stick to the discipline and think about how much is getting priced in, and that would be too far, too fast for me, and I would be selling at 2,500.
All right, Gene, great to speak with you. Always good to get your insights, especially on Tesla. Gene Munster of Loop. Brian Kelly, you got to go back to you because I feel like we're going to rewind and play this appearance. You think 2,500 could be actually in the next couple of quarters, and yet you want to clean out your drawer? I'd keep that sucker in the drawer. If you if you really thought it was going to go that high in a couple of quarters, why not keep it in that drawer?
So, fair point. I have not explained my drawer policy well at all this evening. So let me explain it. I have taken the shares out of the drawer. I am not selling it. But I think in the next quarter or two, it would not surprise me if it doubles, and then I would be selling it with both hands.
So again, very bullish, very aggressive prediction there of the possibility of Tesla stock hitting 2,500 per share in a very short period of time. But let me ask a question. So you sell Tesla stock, it gets to $2,500 per share tomorrow. You sell Tesla stock, you lose a huge amount of your profits to capital gains tax, and then what do you do? Then what do you do with your money after you've paid your taxes? What do you do with the rest? Leave it in cash? Obviously, you don't want to do that. Cash is trash, as we know. So what are you going to invest in instead, expecting to get a far greater return than Tesla stock, keeping in mind that you've now got far less capital because you've paid a shit ton of tax? Serious question. I don't get it. I mean, I totally understand a stock runs up a ton. Maybe if you've got a 420 IQ, you can figure out a great trade here. Some people can do very well selling in and out of stocks like this if they run up a little bit too much. Maybe I'm just a gigantic fucking pussy. Personally, I'd much rather stay in a winner than cash out and try and find the next Tesla because, as we know, in my opinion, Tesla is the next Tesla, and I am a very long-term investor, so I don't really care if Tesla stock gets ahead of itself in terms of valuation. I don't care if it gets 2, 3, 4 years ahead of itself. Unless there's a major change to the company, enormous risks come into play that I was previously unaware of or massively underestimated, I'm just going to keep holding this thing indefinitely.
That is quite a call. Steve Grasso, could you be on board?
Oh, well, I mean, if it gets to 2,500 in that ludicrous speed, basically, then you would have to sell it. But what Gene didn't mention, but he mentioned the other night, was the full self-drive software subscriptions, and that's between $7,000 and $10,000. That's another huge tailwind for the company. Energy storage, battery. It's a very small percentage of overall revenue now. Mm-hmm. It's ticking up. So it almost reminds me of Apple, and then you have the software and everything else and services on top of that with Apple. So I think, yes, I'm on board with Brian cleaning out his draws at 2,500, even though there's nothing in there right now. I think that the stock, what was the price target Kathy Wood had on it? 3,000? So, yeah, I think we're all on the same page. Velocity is key on how quick we get there.
All right. I shall end this block with a question for Tim Seymour. Which do we see first in Tesla, 500 or 2,500?
Oh, boy. Good one. Good would you rather. Look, I think ultimately 2,500 is probably where it can go, but it's not in the next quarter or two, and the stock is way overbought, and the valuation makes less sense today than it did yesterday. I think the balance sheet of this company, their ability to get their production right, the fact that it's been profitable now for 3 quarters straight, makes it a lot harder for me to go for the 500 that I would have said, 3 months ago. So there's my answer.
Melissa Lee, the low-key savage, can't help but poke the bear. Let me know in the comments below if you guys remember the infamous "You still short, Tim?" from Melissa maybe a year or two ago. I think this was a great question. Tim, extremely bearish on the company, thinks the valuation makes no sense, yet even Tim, backed into a corner by Melissa Lee here, forced to admit that he thinks $2,500 per share for Tesla is more likely than 500. So, as predicted repeatedly on this channel, we are really starting to see the tide turn when it comes to Tesla and Tesla stock. Gene Munster becoming hyper bullish. Now he's at around 17 million vehicles produced per year for Tesla, almost at their own stated goal. He may be the only guy on Wall Street who's even close. He's also talking about a $2,500 stock in just a couple of years. His predictions for revenue, disturbingly, are quite close to mine, although keeping in mind my valuation model is quite bearish because I'm not including robotaxi, any energy, etc. Just a little bit of a buffer just in case I'm a little bit optimistic. We're seeing folks on the CNBS panel talking about Tesla stock more than doubling in a span of 3 to 6 months. And even the biggest bear on the CNBS panel, Tim Tam Seymour, I always screw his name up, sorry Tim, nothing personal. Even Tim, who's been extremely skeptical of the company, a constant bear, always negative for years on Tesla, has just admitted that he actually sees $2,500 per share as more probable than Tesla going in the opposite direction to $500 per share. The Tesla tide is really turning. All it took was $1 trillion market cap. Just for fun, let me know in the comments below. At what share price do you think Tim Seymour will finally see the light and go long Tesla stock? Let me know your guess below. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan, this is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card where you can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase. There's a link in the description. You can also earn up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, also linked below. And finally, don't forget your free stocks with WeBull and Stake, also linked in the description. These great offers also help out the channel. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.